Hey year 10s, hope you and your families are all doing well. It does suck that we're back here, but let's make sure that we continue learning in the final 2 days of lockdown. Alright, so in this lesson we're going to be continuing on with probability and we're going to learn about something called two-way tables. So by the end of this lesson we should be able to create a two-way table, be able to use Venn diagrams to create them as well, and also be able to find the probability of events using a two-way table. Just pause the video here and take a couple minutes to write our goals down. Alright, so let's start off with the key features of a two-way table and really what it is. Alright, so two-way tables are used when there are overlapping categories. We have one category that goes across from left to right like that. That's called the rows here. And in this case, we have agree and disagree for the rows. We also have another category here that's in the columns, and this one has girls and boys going down. So once again, the columns represents one category and the rows represent a second category. So this stop point here will be important. Alright, so let's have a go at making sense of this two-way table right here. So this one, once again, it's got girls and boys going up and down and agree and disagree going left to right. So we can see here in this total, that's the total number of people that agreed. The one below is the total number of people that disagreed, and the one here, that's the total number of people that responded. Down here, that's the total number of girls, that's the total number of boys, and once again, that's the total number of people. So when you add these two, it should give you the total, and when you add these two, it should also give you the total. Alright, now looking more towards the middle of the two-way table, let's look at these four cells right there, these four. The first one on the top left shows me how many girls agreed. So in this case, we've got 6 girls that agreed, and the one directly to the right of that shows me 2 boys agreed there. Down here, that's 9 girls disagreed, because that's girls and disagree, and this one's 14 boys disagreed. Alright, let's have a go at making our own two-way table here. Alright, so in this scenario, it says Beta has caught 53 reptiles for her study. So remember, on the bottom right, that's our total. So already we know that 53 needs to go over here. So there's 53 reptiles in total. Alright, the next bit of information is that 30 of the reptiles are goannas, 22 of the reptiles are male, and 16 are both goannas and male. Alright, so we know there are going to be 30 reptiles that are goannas. So that means the total number of goannas is 30, and total for goanna is right down here. Alright, our next bit of information is that 22 of the reptiles are male. So we know male total, so male total on the very right there, that's going to be a 22. And our last bit of information is that 16 are both goannas and male. So this one here, because that's male and goannas, that's where the overlap is, that needs to be a 16. Alright, with that information, we can fill out the rest of the two-way table. Alright, so this one here, that box here will just be the total minus the number of goannas. Because remember, when we add these two together like that, it needs to equal the total there. So from that, we know this has to be 23. So we can also find out this one, 22 plus that box needs to equal 53. So we can get that by doing 53 minus 22. So we know that box has to be 31 there. Alright, so pretty similar with the rest of them. The number of male pythons here is just going to be 22 minus 16. So that won't be 6. For goannas, this box plus this box needs to equal 30. And if I do 30 minus 16, that's going to give me 14 there. And pythons as well, 6 plus that box needs to equal 23. So I can get that by doing 23 minus 6. So we know that box has to be a 17. Alright, so that's how you would create a two-way table when you're given with the sample scenario. Alright, so here's another sample problem for you guys. Just pause the video here, copy this two-way table down into your books, and have a go at filling this out on your own. Alright, so you all should have had a go at filling out this two-way table. I'm just going to go through the answers and how you would fill this out. So just give a tick for each box that you get correct as you go. Alright, so let's have a go reading it first. It says Lockie wants to know if people who play racket sports enjoy tennis or squash more. He surveys 31 people and finds that 14 people like squash, 8 people like tennis and squash, and 10 like neither tennis nor squash. Alright, so already we know the total number of people Lockie surveyed is 31. So we know in the total on the bottom right, there's going to be a 31 there. Give yourself a tick if you got that box correct. Alright, moving on. We know that 14 people like squash. So that means the total number of people that like squash will be 14. So that goes over here in the total box for squash. It then says 8 people like tennis and squash. So that means 8 goes right there, tennis and squash there. And last one, 10 people like neither tennis nor squash. So neither tennis nor squash, that goes into not tennis, not squash, just down here. So there should be a 10 over there. Alright, so that's plenty of information to fill out the rest of the two-way table there. So let's have a go filling the rest of it out. So down here, let's start with this one here. 14 plus that box needs to give me 31. So to get this box here will be 31 minus 14. And that will give you a value of 17 there. Alright, so let's just write 17 into this box there. Alright, I'm going to go to the top now. So this one up here, not tennis and squash only. That will be 8 plus the box equals 14. So I can get that by doing 14 minus 8. And that will give you a value of 6. Alright, this one here, that will be 10 plus the box equals 17. So that has to be 7. And moving down, we can do the same thing downwards. So 8 plus 7 needs to equal that box. So that gives me 15. And 6 plus 10 gives me this box. So it gives me 16 there. And you can double check your answers. If you add all these 4 boxes together, it should give you 31. And it does here. 14 plus 17 should also give me 31. And 15 plus 16 also give me 31. And our two-way table fits that criteria. So we know that we have a correct two-way table here. Just give yourself a tick if you got all those correct. Also, just let me know if you do have any questions along the way and you do struggle at any point. Alright, moving on now. We've learnt about Venn diagrams in the past lesson. And we can also use Venn diagrams to create two-way tables. So here's just a bit of a visual representation of how we can use a Venn diagram to create a two-way table. So Venn diagrams are two-way tables. They essentially display the same information, but just in different ways. So over here, if you look at this Venn diagram, that part here just means A and not B. This also represents A and not B there. So if you keep having a look, this one here, that part there, that represents B and not A. And if you look here, that says B and not A. So that's the same thing there. And you can see with the other two there as well, that's not B, not A, which is what we write on the outside of the diagram. And over here is both A and B, that's the middle, and that's shown right there as well. And on this next slide is just a summary using the symbols we learned last lesson. So once again, that's number of A and B, number of A, not A and B, and that's the total number of B, and so on. You can copy that down into your books if that helps you. Alright, let's have a go at a sample problem here. So we're going to convert this Venn diagram into a two-way table on the right there. So we have Mia is interested in what kind of music people like to listen to. She has displayed the collected data in a Venn diagram. Alright, so we got our information down here. And remember the middle part of the Venn diagram, let's start with that. That's the people, number of people that like both rap and pop. So that goes right there. Our next bit of information, one person likes only rap there. So that means likes rap and doesn't like pop. So one goes there. And with that, we can add these two numbers to get this box there. Our next one, we have 6 people like pop, but not rap. So likes pop, doesn't like rap, that goes there. And then we add 24 plus 6 to get the total. That gives me 30 people like pop in total. Alright, and we also have 9 people like neither rap or pop. So that goes doesn't like pop, doesn't like rap, just down here. And you get a 9. Alright, we can fill out the rest of the two-way table there. This one here will be 6 plus 9. That gives me 15. Over here will give me 9 plus 1, which is 10. And our total gives me 40. 30 plus 10 here gives me 40. You can add these two there, or these two there. 25 plus 15 also gives me 40. Alright, so that's how you would convert a Venn diagram into a two-way table. And our last goal for today was to find the probability of events using a two-way table. So over here, we can also use two-way tables to figure out the probability of events occurring. And just a recap of the symbols, this one up the top meant probability of A occurring. Next one's probability of not A. This one's probability of both A and B. And this one's at the bottom is the probability of either A or B. Alright, let's have a go at this problem here. It says the following two-way table displays the number of people who buys donuts and pies at the Treat Yourself bakery. So Nicola is looking at the event that a person buys both a donut and a pie. So that one's just this box here. So we know 7 is going to be part of the answer. And remember, probability is either written as a decimal or a fraction. Let's go with the fraction this time. So it's 7 out of the total. And to get the total from this two-way table, all you will need to do is add all these numbers together. So we'll do 7 plus 17 plus 22 plus 1. So it'll be 7 out of 7 plus 17 plus 22 plus 1. A total of 47 there. And both 7 and 47 are prime numbers, so they can't be divided by anything. So that is our fraction in its simplest form. So your answer would be 7 out of 47. You could convert that into a decimal, and you would also be correct there. So if you did want to convert into a decimal, you would just do 7 divided by 47 in your calculator, and you should get a value of 0.15 if rounded to 2 decimal places. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully by now you guys can create a two-way table from a sample scenario, can use Venn diagrams to create two-way tables, and also can find the probability of events using a two-way table. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys back online.